So I don't know if this is karma for my confidence that the Mavs are going to be okay without Luka or what, but the Mavs have now lost 5 in a row. Kyrie is now injured. Daniel Gafford is now injured after tonight's game with a ankle injury that sounds as though it might be a while before he's back. Oh my gosh. I mean, I did think the Mavs would be okay, assuming health from everybody else, health from Kyrie, health from all the other role players, including Gafford. If the roster besides Luka was able to stay healthy, this Mavs team was going to be fine. But that has not been the case. They've lost 5 in a row. Kyrie is now expected to be out for the next week or two at least because of a bulging disc in his back. And then obviously Gafford tonight as well. I don't know if y'all saw this, but Gafford goes down with a sprained ankle, and Jason Kidd says he'll probably be out for some time. What does that mean? My hope is only a couple weeks. It could be a week, could be 2, could be a month. It depends how severe the ankle sprain is. But either way, the Mavs are now basically down to, in terms of guards, we have Jaden Hardy and Spencer Dinwiddie. In terms of wings, we have Quentin Grimes, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall. And in terms of bigs, we have Derek Lively, Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell. Maybe Omax gets some minutes in there as well. But without 3 of the most important players to this team and the 2 best players on the team in Luka and Kyrie, things are very quickly falling apart for a Mavericks team that looked like they were going to be serious championship contenders and maybe the second best team in the West. All of a sudden, the goal might just be staying out of the play-in, and that might not be easy to do with the way that things are shaping up as of late, because it doesn't sound as though Luka's going to be back anytime soon either. That looks like that's going to be at least another month. So, yikes. That's all I got to say. And we're going to break it down in this video a little more. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 2,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Multiple NBA videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, I gotta say, man, this is really, really disappointing. A rough loss tonight against the Grizzlies where we just didn't have enough in the second half, in all honesty. Jaren Jackson Jr. was the best player on the court. I mean, unsurprised. He's been the best player on the court the last couple of games, to be totally honest. But 35, 13, and 5, 3 steals, had himself a very impactful performance. And honestly, I think it just came down to, despite all the Grizzlies injuries as well, they were just better than we were tonight without Kyrie, without Luka. The problem is for this Mavs team, without Kyrie, without Luka, that's literally, 52 points between the 2 of them that you're taking away, plus the 2 primary playmakers on this roster. I mean, Luka's averaging 8 assists a game. We've seen him close to 10 before in the past. Kyrie's at 5 assists a game. Outside of that, who's the playmaker? Is it Spencer Dinwiddie? Is it Jaden Hardy? Is it PJ Washington? Is it Quentin Grimes? Like, none of these guys are positioned to be primary playmakers at all. They're secondary, tertiary options at best. Klay Thompson, as good of a player as he is throughout his career, and he shot the ball decently well, he's not a primary scoring option at all anymore. And that's the problem for this team. You take away 52 points a game plus the by far 2 most important playmakers to this roster, and they go from a team that can compete with any team in basketball to a team that is really, really ordinary. Not just ordinary, just not very good. They've lost 5 games in a row. Not shocking. Most of those without Kyrie. Now they're going to be without Kyrie for the next few games as well. It just is quickly starting to look pretty dark for the Mavs. And you look at the standings, they're only 2 games out of the 10 seed, 3 games out of the 11 seed. Like, this is not a situation where you can afford to lose 5 or 6 more games. Like, they have to find a way to get back on their feet a little bit. You got to survive. You got to find a way to win a few games, because Kyrie will be back in a week or 2. And when he gets back, it'll become a little bit easier. But I mean, at the end of the day, we have another month plus till we get Luka back. And I don't know, man. I'm getting concerned. I got to say, I am legitimately getting concerned about this Mavs roster, because let's look at the schedule. I mean, it's not great. It's not great. We get the Lakers tomorrow, second night of a back-to-back. No Kyrie, probably a loss. Portland, they've been feisty at times. They played us great earlier this year. It's the best game they've played all season, efficiency-wise. We've lost to them twice already. We lost to them with Kyrie scoring 46 last week after Christmas. Like, that could be another loss. I hope it's a win. That's one of the easier opponents on paper we'll get in a while, but it's going to be another tough one. Then we get Denver twice. Those are not easy games without our 2 best players. New Orleans, hope we can find a way to win that one. OKC, we're going to get killed. Charlotte, I crossing my fingers and hoping. Again, they're really bad. That's a game we got to win. But then you get Minnesota, OKC, Boston, again, just a gauntlet before you finally get Washington, New Orleans, a couple games that are winnable. Like, you got to find a way to win by the end of the month. You got to find a way to win. Really, we're going through the All-Star break at this point, I think, in this stretch. And even in early February, it's Detroit's tough. Cleveland, Philly, Boston, Houston, Sacramento, Golden State, Miami. None of these teams are pushovers. Like, some of these games are winnable. Some of them we might just get annihilated. But without Luka and likely without Kyrie here until at least like towards the end of January, this is going to be tough. You got to find a way to streak out some wins. In this next stretch, really through the Charlotte game, potentially without Kyrie, got to find a way to win three or so of these 8 games. Like if we could go 3-5, that's okay. Then you get Kyrie back here for the Minnesota game. Let's just say in theory, you got a tough set of matchups here, but if you can find a way to beat New Orleans, beat Washington, and win one of these other games before the end of the month, and maybe just go 3-3 in that stretch, that's okay. And then you win 2 out of 6 or so going into the All-Star break, and just hold on. Keep yourself in touch with the 6th seed, basically. Give yourself an opportunity. Now, this is really unfortunate because this is a team that was going to have home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs and was really starting to play well after a tough start to the season, and that is basically gone at this point. At this point, the goal is to stay out of the play-in. I don't know if home court advantage in the first round is realistically going to be all that plausible anymore, especially assuming that Luka's out for the next month or so. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping things happen. We're going to need some big PJ Washington performances. We're going to need Najee Marshall to have some moments like he did early in the year when Luka missed some other games. We're going to need some Klay Thompson vintage performances. We're going to need him to come out and score 35, make 8 threes a night or two. Like, we're going to need some moments. And I don't know where the production's going to come from. Like Jaden Hardy, this is the biggest opportunity you're probably going to have at this point all season. Like, you got to step up and have some big offensive games. Because defensively, they'll be okay. They're not going to be awesome, but they're going to be okay. And offensively is going to be the question at the end of the day. Can they get enough shots? Can they prevent themselves from turning the ball over, which will help the defense if they can keep the turnovers down? And can we get some seriously important offensive performances from some guys so that we can play at least close to 500 basketball over these next couple months? Because the truth is, if we can't play 500 basketball for the next month or so, you could very easily be looking at a 500 basketball team that is hanging around the 10 or 11 seed by the time Luka gets back. So for all y'all fans out there who said the Mavs would be better off without Luka, I just want to say right now, that is very clearly not true. So I hope you realize that your criticisms sound stupid now. But either way, as a Mavs fan, I hope things get better, and I hope they get better quickly. And I am praying for Luka's quick recovery. Please, Lord Jesus, keep his calf healthy and get him healthy as a whole, because we really need him desperately if we have any shot whatsoever to be a contender this season and to give ourselves, because we got to get him back to build momentum for the playoffs, if nothing else. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting month or so without Luka. And hopefully Kyrie will be back sooner than later as well, because without him, we're really screwed. So I was wrong. I think karma was like, yep, you shouldn't have said all that about the Mavs are going to be fine. And unfortunately, here we are. So I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.